Welcome to the Coaching Life Podcast. My name's Pat Martin. I'm here with my good friend, Coach Chris Stewart. Coach, it's a beautiful Wednesday on the campus of Ohio University here in Athens, Ohio. How are you doing?
Pardon me, I was doing a little producing there.
Yeah. Have we hired a student producer yet?
We haven't, but I seriously am going to talk to some
I think
students.
it'd be good.
Yeah.
It'll make me feel less bad when I can't make it up here on our scheduled days. I feel like I'm wasting your time when I do that. So now it'll be I'm just wasting a student's time.
Yeah. No, it'd be good. Our students will come in on August 25th, that weekend. So we're just 2 weekends away from. Is that right? Yeah.
I won't be able to park up here anymore. Won't be able to park.
You will.
On the street.
You just have to drive around about 6 times before somebody leaves.
That's true.
To find a parallel parking space.
Probably won't be able to park anywhere. At the time that I come up, at 10:30. Normally I park under the Richland Avenue Bridge and
be filled by then.
Yeah, you'd be lucky, but I can park somewhere and walk a little bit further. It's no big deal. I need the exercise anyway.
Yeah, I've parked uptown way too much this summer just because it's easy. But then you spend, we pay for a parking pass from the university, so
it's true.
You should use it.
Yeah.
But
it's
nice out. Why not just walk?
It's
always
really nice out.
Walk for
Yesterday was an amazing day in Meigs County, Ohio.
And in Athens County.
Was it?
It was nice. Yeah.
I guess it could be.
It was warm.
It wasn't warm.
It wasn't humid, and it wasn't as warm as it has been. We've had some 96, 98 degree days.
I don't know what it was yesterday.
I thought it was only going to be about 83. I ended up mowing my grass at my house.
Did you really?
Why. Well, just there's
bored?
every now and then you got spots that are.
Are they green though?
So I just basically leveled everything out.
My grass is almost all dead.
Well, I got some low spots in the back. The back was high, because where my backyard goes down to a wooded area, and then it backs to the gun club.
It's got shade.
There's shade, but also water, and there's a natural spring down there too. It's wild. Ever since we've had the house, there's just a little wet ditch down at the bottom of our.
That's what it is.
At the bottom of our hill, and
should tap into that.
I know I should
put a well in there.
Yeah, it's not that. It's not that much water, but it just runs right out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
There's a nice spring out at the Meigs County Fair, the fairgrounds down there.
Really? Where?
Are you serious? You've never drank water out of that spring?
No, I'm not drinking water out of anything.
Oh, it's cold and clean. It comes right out of the rock on the side of the hill there.
Wait a second.
So when if you hang off the highway. Well, you got to go down and under now, but Rock Springs Road there, and you're going up the hill to what would be the 2-lane drive to go up into the fairgrounds. Yeah. On the right-hand side, if you look, you could see it. It's like they've built a little stone entrance. There's a little doorway, and when you go in, there's a little bench and a little a rock bowl or whatever. It's pretty wild.
I feel like you're.
I haven't been in there in forever, but seriously, when we ran cross country, because I stopped playing football and basketball actually my senior year, but Coach Oliphant got a hold of me to run cross country, and so we'd run past there, and we knew it was there. We always knew it was there, and so we would stop and get a drink of water on the way back.
I feel like this is the.
It's called Indian Springs, is what we always called it, Indian Spring. I think there's a little plaque with a little story on it too. Check it out. You'll be at the fair tonight.
This is the pool and the high school.
You're a fair liver during this week, aren't you?
Yeah.
Camp out there.
Yeah, I haven't stayed out yet. I've been out. I went in.
I cannot believe you have never seen that.
I've never heard of it.
Okay, everybody who listens to our podcast who lives in the Meigs County area or who is familiar with Pomeroy, Rock Springs, the fairgrounds, you've got to know about
when's the last time you saw this?
Sunday.
You actually saw it.
Well, I didn't go in, but
you saw
every
the
time
entrance.
you drive by, if you look over there,
I have no idea.
If you look over to your right, you'll
Never
see
seen it. Never,
wow, that's
never
amazing.
noticed it.
Isn't it funny how we sometimes we live life with open focus that so much
Selective focus.
Yeah, sure. It's not open focus. We would see it if we had open focus, but I thought about, speaking of open focus, I thought of a cool lesson, I think, when it comes to hitting and what you should be focused on. You know how we used to teach, this is kind of random, but we used to teach hitters, did you ever teach hitters to, when you're in the box, focus your eyes, like as the pitcher starts his windup, focus your eyes on the logo of his hat, because your eyes work like a camera lens. Your eyes have lenses, and you're going to focus better on that, and then you want to transfer it from the hat logo to the above his shoulder, whatever his throwing arm shoulder is, and then you'll be able to pick up the ball better.
I thought
that's
go
ahead.
I agree with that, because not a hat, but just to focus on something small in the distance for that purpose. But during the pitch, you would I usually tell our hitters to look at the arm slot and box it.
Yeah,
draw an imaginary box over right over his shoulder.
See where the ball's going to come from, or whatever.
So you can pick it up as quick as possible. But the eye thing, okay.
But that focus, I think
that's a Brian Cain thing too, like part of the focusing in on a small object too.
And it's a myth.
It doesn't. It's not real.
It doesn't really help you. In fact, it probably hurts more than it helps. And I think we'll have to look this up in Kevin Wilson's his book, The Good.
I thought Kevin Wilson,
but he talked. I think it was him that talks about this. It actually may have been Brian Cain. Somebody talked to Manny Ramirez and asked him what about that specific focus thing, the small focus, because Wilson does do this also. But he talks about, Manny's like, I don't focus on something small. I want open focus. I want to see everything. And at the last second, I'll look at the where the ball's coming from. But he said, here's what I thought. As you're thinking through the difference between what's better, what kind of focus is better when you're in the batter's box, because I think you almost need both. Like, let's say you go out and you hit some BP with just you and Jeremiah at the baseball field.
At the field.
You throw to him, and he hits 50 balls, and they're scattered out in your outfield. So now you two got to go out with buckets and pick them up. Are you going to find more baseballs with narrow focus, specific narrow focus, walking around looking, like seeing the blades of grass, and then there's a baseball, like looking for that one specific ball? Like, let's say you've picked up 45 balls, but you can't find 5 of them. Mm-hmm. What's the best way to find those 5? Back it up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Let's get a broader focus.
Maybe.
And then once you see it, and then once you see the ball, you zero in on it, and so it becomes a little bit of both.
Sometimes
There's
I have
benefits to both.
Our guys, especially when we get the pearls out, mm-hmm. I have our guys go arm to arm and comb the outfield, and in that case, right. I tell them, look down, don't
As
look ahead, look down, and don't look too far to your right.
Well,
don't
that's
look too
because
far to
you
your
have
left.
everybody all together and
right.
you're combing it. But if I'm out there, if it's just you and Jeremiah,
true,
and you're walking around, scattering around, looking for them, I thought of this as I was doing that very thing, actually, just walking around looking for.
It's an interesting concept, and you mentioned Kevin Wilson. I'd be interested to see what he said, but I would guess that he would say something like, "It depends on the player, depends on the hitter."
Yeah,
like and not that
Manny,
I love Manny, but not to discredit him or anything. He may not have a clue what he's talking about.
He did a lot of things differently than anybody.
He did, yeah. But he might you've heard of feel versus real. For the folks out there, a lot of you'll run into videos. A lot of major league hitters will be saying, swing down on the ball, knob straight down to the ball, whatever, down, and you watch them hit, and that's not the way they swing at all. And then guys like Barry Bonds, they get their pre-hitting routine or their cage routine was to start hitting ground balls off of a tee straight down into the ground. He would hit it straight down in the ground. It's like that's the way I try to swing, and it's like, well, that's not the way you swing. You might try to swing that way, but that's the idea of feel versus real, and how it makes you get the proper mechanics in your swing by doing a certain feel. But some guys or gals need to feel those, to feel the hands working down. Some need to feel the hands and the elbow working up. Some need that to feel that,
right,
swing level, which, in my day growing up, swing level meant you swing straight with the ground, But whatever the feel is, there's just different hitters need different things. Yeah. So I would say that would probably be true with the lens. I haven't had a conversation. I don't tell my hitters to focus on something small in the distance. Yeah. But I have talked to them about focusing on, the Brian Keane technique of, that focus of being part of your reset routine and,
I mean,
calming your mind and being prepared.
Another aspect of this is pitching, mm-hmm. right? I remember growing up, keep your eyes on the mitt. Don't take your eyes off the mitt. Keep your eyes focused on the mitt and narrow
now they teach
focus.
though to look at a single point on the catcher, right? Like they'll say, look at the catcher.
Again, I think it's, because you're wanting to hit a small target, right? I mean, there's this thought that if you don't focus on something small, you're going to miss it. But I think there have been studies also that show, that teach more of the open focus and how your command really isn't that much different when you're just kind of looking in general at the space between, but in your mind, I want to throw this ball in the inside corner.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, from a personal experience standpoint, like we never have, or rarely, sometimes we do, but we rarely will have, like in regular BP, throwing BP, you rarely have a catcher.
Right.
And I never have a focus point when I'm throwing BP.
I do.
Like some people like I've heard some people say, I look at that spot on the backstop, or I look at the back of that. I put a little X on the back on the fence, or a little turtle fence behind. I look at the hitter.
I do too.
I just I look straight, but I don't look at a specific spot.
I think I'm looking around his waist area.
Yeah, and so what's funny about that is I've played a few adult games where I was actually pitching competitively, right, in a game, played in those tournaments. And I think I was on here one time and I said the last time I played in one of those games I was 40 or 41, but I played it at 47, as recent as 47. That was the last time that I played one of those tournaments.
Okay. Is that when you pitched with the Brock?
Because, and the reason I know that is because actually it may have been 48 or getting ready to turn 48, because we talked about it. And I was listening to one of those first few episodes of our podcast a few weeks ago, and you're like, how do you feel today? And I'm like, I got to admit, my whole body is sore as heck, because we had just played in a game that weekend, and I had pitched. But anyway, that's tangent. Well, no, that's the point. When I was pitching as an adult, after having thrown batting practice for years as a coach,
you looked at it.
I did not look at the catcher's mitt hardly at all. I mean, I'd wind up, I'd look a little bit everywhere, a little Nestor Cortez, stuff, whatever. I can't stand that the style of pitching, by the way. Yes,
swinging his leg,
bush league, cringy. So
it's not swag.
That's not swag. I think he's trying to disrupt timing. And sometimes it works, but most of the time it just looks like a clown. But I guess he's a pretty nice guy. I don't know, but
Jake doesn't look, when he throws, he doesn't look at the mitt until he delivers, till he comes down the hill. He's looking at third base.
Yeah. I want kids to kind of have, I would rather, I think your eyes can focus pretty quick. And I think what happens is, if I focus on something, what are those little puzzles that you have?
I could never do those.
If you focus on it for a long time, it eventually becomes.
I could never do
because your eyes
this.
go cross.
Yeah,
I
could never get those. Like, I thought it was a conspiracy. Like, I just feel like everyone that looks at those just pretends they can see something, but there's really nothing in there. I've never been able to get those.
Here's the classic line from Manny Ramirez, which I think is actually quite brilliant. He says, "When I look at nothing, I see everything." Someone asked him, like, "What are you looking at? What are you looking at when you're in the batter's box?" And he's like, well, nothing really. Like, just it's really everything.
Yeah.
But I'm not focusing on one specific thing. and that's something that he uses to describe, or open focus, basically.
But to be fair, this is coming from the same man that says, "I'm always late, but I'm always on time."
On time. But I understand what he's saying there too, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So anyway, that was definitely, this was not our topic of conversation today, but it was
everyone always gets little tidbits of these golden moments. Especially when we don't come prepared.
Well, somebody did prepare us, because you had somebody ask us to talk about something, didn't you?
Yeah, I got a message the other day.
That's good. That's what we said we wanted for season 10 to be.
Yes,
so we're 2 episodes into season 10, and we've been able to talk about 2 things that people have asked us about.
So what they want, Coach, is they want us to have a conversation. Is that what they said? They did. I was going to make a joke. They want us to have a conversation about the Savannah Bananas, about their style of baseball.
Okay. You're using the word baseball pretty loosely there.
That's all you need to know. That's the conversation.
It's theater. That's what it is. We got to be careful talking about the Savannah Bananas, because thousands of people love them. And we probably have a lot of people who listen to us.
I mean, they're fun.
Have you ever been to a game?
I have not. I've just seen them on TV. We had the opportunity.
And I'll be honest with you. And people probably don't know this about me, because whenever they say they've gone to see the Bananas, they've been. I was like, oh, that's cool. I know they're a lot of fun, and everybody likes them. I have zero desire to go watch it. I think I would hate it.
Matter of fact, one of my proudest.
I would get so ticked. I think I want to get up and leave.
One of my proudest dad moments is our Jeremiah, my youngest son's summer team, they were talking about either going to Glenville, West Virginia, to Sue Morris Sports Complex, and playing
nice complex
really nice complex, playing in a tournament, or going to I think Berliner in Columbus was having banana ball, which,
oh my gosh, where kids got to play it,
under the Savannah Banana rule set, and he had no interest. He was like, I'm not doing that. I want to go play in the tournament. I want to play baseball. So I was like, yeah,
I wonder how that went.
I don't know. I think, and I don't know how much they did it, or what they promoted or anything. I know, like,
maybe played by some of the rules, like if you walk, you sprint, and the see, now there's some aspects of it that I like, in terms of, I like the idea of doing something like that in practice. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Where we're playing some, like here, the rule is there is no walks, it's a sprint, right? And the batter can sprint around as many bases as he can get. If he can get all the way around all 4 bags, touch all 4 bases before every player on the field touches the baseball, then it's a run. Is that right?
I don't know.
I think that's one. See, here's the thing. We're talking about something. I've seen videos, and
I know one of the rules is,
but I think that's generally kind of the rule.
Foul balls out of play can be caught for outs.
Yeah, I don't think that was always a rule, but I think it is now. Like, I think it happened one time, or they did it for one game, and it turned out really a lot of fun. And so,
the Savannah Bananas were in a league.
Yeah,
they were in a baseball league.
It's Coastal Plains, right?
Yes.
It's a collegiate summer team, like what we have here, the Copperheads.
And they started doing some of these
videos and funny
theater things.
It was mostly in between innings and stuff like that, right? Like they would have them announce their favorite dinner before.
Well, and then they would dance, and then they get crazy with the pitching.
It morphed into stupidity.
Right. Well, again,
not stupidity.
The games are real, though.
Isn't every
they're not scripted?
You play. Well, I mean, baseball. Once you throw a pitch and a guy swings at it, like, there are split second parts of the game that's real.
Yeah.
Right. It's the Harlem Globetrotters on a baseball diamond.
But it's not, because Harlem Globetrotters games are more scripted, I feel.
I've seen them lose.
Really?
Oh yeah, they've lost games.
I've never been to a Harlem Globetrotters
Well, maybe that
game.
was the because there was another offshoot of them.
But maybe it was scripted.
Meadowlark Lemon left, and they did like a Buccaneers.
So they lost.
He created another type of team that was like the Harlem Globetrotters.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know, but yeah, it's kind of right. But I mean, the Globetrotters are actually doing choreographed, rehearsed tricks during competition, whereas the Savannah Bananas are doing it in the in-between moments. They don't do rehearsed things when the ball's live. Am I wrong about that?
I'm pretty sure I've seen like a second baseman turn a double play, or a shortstop field a routine ground ball and then do like a cartwheel into a throw to first base.
Okay.
Like things like that. Well, watch the pitchers. Watch the stupid stuff they do.
Well, I know, like the pitchers wear stilts
and stuff like that, and and you got the umpire dancing too, and all of a sudden they throw the pitch.
Yeah, but
but then once the pitch is thrown, it's like in that split second moment, that's baseball, right? Is that what you're saying?
I guess, yeah. I mean, I've never watched the game. I don't have any.
I haven't. Probably need. Yeah, This is like reviewing a book that we have never read.
Well, and I don't really have any interest in reviewing it. But so that's the one.
What's the question? What do people? So
the first question is. This is why we want you to discuss it, because it's not traditional baseball.
No, it isn't. And you know what? I'm okay with the entertainment factor of it, and the fact. I mean, it's obviously popular. I think the media likes to use banana ball in a way of saying, oh, it's good for baseball because baseball is dying. The media has this obsession with this notion that baseball is dying.
Yeah, and it just doesn't make all these changes and things like that.
It continues to grow more and more popular every year.
So the Savannah Bananas kind of spin that as their selling point too. It's a more fast-paced, entertaining game than what is provided to you in Major League Baseball. But
I mean, Jeremiah is an example of.
True.
Sure, he'd probably enjoy going to a Bananas game, but he'd rather play baseball.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and I would too. And I'd rather watch a baseball game. I'd rather watch Little League baseball. I'd rather watch Little League softball. Than watch.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and I've seen the Harlem Globetrotters. I paid money for tickets when my kids were little.
I've never went to Harlem Globetrotters.
I wouldn't want to watch it every day.
I'll tell you.
You know what I'm saying? It was fun and entertaining. We saw them down here at the Convo at Ohio University's campus, and it was funny. But after a while, it's like, okay, let's play some basketball. This is a little cringe.
Here's a different perspective.
Here's the thing. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, you good.
What I was about to say may have changed gears a little bit. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just going to say mine too, I guess.
Okay.
I was just going to say, you buy these sports games, video games. Okay, this is kind of out of your realm.
Yeah,
like NCAA college football just came out.
It's back.
Oh
right?
yeah.
I might actually see if.
Did you play that? Is that a game you played?
That's a game. When was the last time it was available? Like 2013 or 14, something like that.
No,
even further back than that.
Longer than that. Yeah.
So yeah, well, that tells you how the last time I probably played any video games would have been when that game was available.
I never did like it. I didn't like the
really?
college style. No, I felt like the controls were different. But I played.
Oh, I don't know about all that, but I liked the bands in the background and Brent Musburger's voice on it. And all that. Yeah.
But you have the ability to play, I don't know, freshman level. There's freshmen and varsity and franchise and stuff like that. There's different levels of difficulty. So you have the ability to play freshman level, and you have the ability to build your guys up, build your players up, and make them like superstars. So you can have all your receivers could have 100 speed, and and I go into my kids' room, and Maya's beating a team 687 to nothing.
What?
And I'm like, what are you doing?
Why is that fun?
I was like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm just playing. And I'm like, why? Yeah, but you're killing it. This isn't even real. And he's like, what do you mean it's not real? Like, well, you're beating them. This isn't realistic. You're beating them this bad. And like, so when I played,
how is it possible to score that many points?
I don't know it's bad.
Still,
it wasn't 687.
It's like, hey,
I just did
Jeremiah,
that to put a point of it.
Move to the sophomore level.
Yeah, right.
It's time to move up.
When I would play video games like that, I would like start like I would never build a guy up to be 100% or a player up to be 100% of anything. I would start at the base level, go through a draft and, go through my rough years of developing the team and maybe even not getting to the playoffs my first season, maybe winning a game or two my next year, and it's building up season after season, because I thought that was more realistic. But there is
so you're playing entire seasons of the video game, and then your characters actually get better. Yeah,
and you get better players, over time because there's another draft or a trade, something like that. So you can
depending
continue.
on how you do, they're actually getting better. Okay.
Right. So it's like, but you don't beat teams 100 to nothing or anything like that.
Right. You feel like it's more realistic.
Your quarterback doesn't throw 12 touchdowns in a game. Yeah. It's more realistic. So I think there's an element of that people are interested in, of the I don't know what you'd call it.
That banana ball is not realistic, and they like that. Like to Jeremiah, he's like, "What's the big deal beating somebody by 600 points?" It's not realistic, but
it's fun.
It's fun to me. Okay, I mean, what's fun to somebody else might not be fun to you and I. That's
right.
Fun.
Yeah. And that's the thing. The question was, it's not 100, or the statement was, it's not 100% traditional baseball. That's why I'm asking you to converse about it.
It's probably, is there 10% traditional baseball? Is there any percentage of traditional
baseball? It's a
baseball
game that they play with a baseball.
Oh, it's yellow, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's different color. Yeah, but it's a game that they play with a baseball. I wouldn't even call it baseball.
Skirts and everything else out there, and I don't know. They're not even wearing the real uniforms, are they?
We're so old.
I don't know.
We are so old. People are like, these guys they're not wearing the same color. All the players aren't wearing the same color hats. They're illegal.
Hey, go back to that. I got a question.
Oh, yeah, you're going to change it.
I got a tangent question for you. That NCAA football, is it on the Xbox? What do you call it? What
it is on the Xbox. It might be on the other ones. I don't know.
What are the popular ones now? PlayStation,
Xbox, PlayStation 4.
Is there a Nintendo still?
Was that
a Wii? Was Nintendo a Wii?
Well, there's a Nintendo Switch.
But
I don't.
Those the little small ones.
And I think Nintendo was the GameCube, but that was a long time ago. I don't know what Nintendo has.
What number
as a game
are we
console.
on now? Xbox 134.
They call they're not doing that now. It's like Xbox One XS or something like that. They kind of went with the Apple version.
What your kids have?
I think they have an Xbox One X or something like that. A fairly newer version.
Do they have that new NCAA game? Have you played it?
No.
Oh, okay.
I only play Fortnite.
I was going to ask you if you've used if they've played with the Bobcats, like if any of
they don't, but what they do is, so you can get, this is really cool.
Like, do they actually have the kids on the roster that are on this year's roster in the game? Those names?
I can't remember. That's a good question.
That's going to get harder.
You can create players
with NCAA because
the NIL they'll have to pay for it,
transferring and things like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
they'll be able to get the rosters, but the big thing will be they'll have to pay the college players to
switch them. Like Curtis Rourke's probably on Indiana's roster, and
but I
was curious because Ohio University is practically a brand new team this year. I mean, they lost to everybody.
Yeah,
I mean, not
their
everybody.
numbers will be on there.
They have
their likeness.
I was wondering if like Parker Navarro.
I don't know.
The quarterback, Parker's a good friend of ours. He goes to our church, and a lot of those kids go to our church. But he's been coming for quite a while. He was sitting under Curtis, and he was the backup. He got hurt, and C.J. Harris stepped in as backup, and then C.J. got hurt, and then Parker played last year. Parker actually was the starting quarterback and played in the bowl game last year. And Ricky Hunt was the star running back.
So you're drawing it. If they got the real players, you want to play it.
I'd be interested in play. I would like to do that.
I have a text out to my resource.
Yeah, I know some folks listen to our podcast.
I just got a yes. I'm gonna ask.
Parker's on there.
Is
Parker Navarro and like Christoph Atkinson? Do they have offensive linemen and everything too? That with their actual names? Or
I'd say they would, and I would say
like Christoph's been there for 4 years. I mean,
I would say not only do they have their
starter now,
their names and everything, but they'd have their pictures. Like it would look like them on their profile. So I just asked. He's never played with Ohio University, obviously, because he just gave me the probably. But he said,
"Is that Jeremiah?"
They are real players. Yeah.
Time to look it up. Is he at the house?
He's.
This is live. This is live updates here on something that isn't very interesting. Actually, might be really interesting to some people. I'm kind of interested in that. It's kind of
the people that are interested already know the answer. They're sitting out there saying, like, "Yes, you idiots, they're on there." Jeez.
Yeah.
We do this live.
I mean, these mid majors, and that aren't. I think it'd be kind of cool if you were a student.
I am a little upset though. About NCAA.
Wow. What is
not about the organization, about the video game.
Oh.
Ironton. Athens.
Ironton
High School. Athens High School. Trying to think of the other one. Can't remember what the other one was. But there's no Meigs High School. So if you create a player, you can choose what high school they're
You're
from.
kidding me.
But Meigs isn't on there.
No way.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Eastern on there?
I don't think so. I don't think so. But yeah.
Well, Athens is going to be on there. You're going to have.
Hey, we've got pros. From
you're going
Meigs.
to have. You're going to have. Probably the high schools that send.
Did Ironton have a elite?
Surely they've had some kids go from into some pretty good size colleges over the years, don't you think? Ironton? I don't know. Back in the day, yeah, like probably the more kids that have gone to play college football,
or Joe Burrow from Athens,
or you got Joe Burrow, yeah. Right. Well, yeah, that year the Lermans went, Zakiah Saltzman went. Zakiah was at Georgetown, the Lerman both
to college, were here
at OU, yeah. They had a lot in that year.
Breaking news.
Here it is.
Parker Navarro is the starter on NCAA.
Yes.
2025, I think.
I've been watching a few of their practice days down here before I walk uptown. I park down there near the stadium, and he was taking the one reps and the reps with all the ones. Tell you somebody else to look for. A young man named Coleman. What is Coleman's last name? He's a wide receiver. Well, kind of a slot back receiver, I think is what he's going to be. That's what he looks like anyway. Because he's not tall, but dude is jacked. I mean, he's strong, and there's a lot of hype. Right, he's pretty good. I think he look for him to kind of be like a Sam Wiglusz type of receiver. I think so.
He says the entire line has real names. So
cool. Give a little shout out to Christoph Atkinson. He's a good one. His parents are from Ireland.
He did say it's not their actual pictures on the profile,
like cartoon looking pictures.
Just their names. No, it's a real. I mean, it's. Have you played a video game recently, Coach? These games
they don't look like little RBI baseball guys from 1993. Yeah.
It's almost hard to tell between a video game and a real game. Cool. So, but yeah, I haven't played it yet. Yeah, that took us a different direction.
So back to our topic there, yeah. One of the things. Go ahead.
No, you got it.
You got.
Well, I was going to say the third thing was.
Oh, yeah, that's right. There were a few specific points.
Well, it's traditional baseball, different rules. Those things. And I think we've kind of touched on that.
Very much so. It's very much different than traditional baseball. Yes, we agree with that.
Yeah, so much so that.
But there are some aspects. But I will say this, because I've been kind of talking bad about the Bananas, whatever. But there are some aspects of their game that I think really could be helpful in practice, like that walk thing. Like that's a kind of cool drill, I think. Like if you're playing a little intra-squad and say, hey, during this intra-squad, every walk is a sprint, which is kind of cool because one, I want our guys to sprint down the line. I kind of want them to take a hard 90 no matter what. So
even when they walk,
if you can get all the way around the bases before all 9 guys touch the ball, then you score a point. We'll call it a point. We can't call it a run. But those are that'd be kind of a cool drill, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know what else do they do that would be cool, like
beneficial to catch foul ball and being out because that way you don't lose foul balls when you're having VP.
Tell your fans, yes, we're going to station somebody on top of the school building at Eastern.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you get in the school building,
your facility, your diamond's up on a hill and everything goes down. All your foul balls end up pretty nice walk.
We've had what do we have? We had 4 tryouts, over 50 kids, had a youth camp.
On your field?
On the field in the last month. And we've only lost, I think, like 7 baseballs. And they're all old. They're all old balls, so machine balls.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Everyone did a pretty good job
Get
there.
after 'em.
So, yeah. But the third thing
what's the third point?
So, we see these Savannah Banana players and the other team that's in their league now. I can't remember what their name is.
Does Akron have one?
Nah, they're in a 2-team league. Like when they split from the Coastal Plains League and started their own, and it was it's banana rules.
Well, I mean, you'd have to find another team that'd be willing to play like that,
right? So there's 2.
Not
I
just
think.
sitting over there in the dugout getting irritated for 9 innings or however many, whatever.
But the question is,
I just want to plunk every single one of these guys when they come up to bat.
So you got the pitcher dancing.
Yeah. This is one of the things they want us to talk about.
Well, is that cockiness? Is that swag? What is it?
No,
and that's just an example.
I don't think so, because I think here's a funny
it's choreographed. Is what you're going to say about
everything
that. But
the Bananas do is choreographed.
But what if?
So there's like
your pitcher.
The irony
danced.
is none of that stuff is like unstructured, free. I mean, so some of it might be, like a guy decides to do a cartwheel before he catches a fly ball or whatever, spins around. Like they probably didn't say, "Hey, you have to do this before."
Right.
But
right.
They probably want them. Hey, think of some things to do.
I guarantee they do. Yeah, that's the whole selling point.
Yeah.
But what if your pitcher? What if the behavior that you see in a Savannah Bananas game
leaks into our?
Yes.
I'll bet it is. I'll bet it is somewhat already. I don't know.
Oh, I know. I mean, I've seen a pitcher dance in a game.
What level?
Division III, high school baseball.
Are you referring to your district championship game a couple
Yes,
years
I
ago?
am.
Was that kid dancing? I know he was having fun.
He was having fun.
It was so if he struck a kid out while the ball was being thrown around, is that what you're talking about? Was he doing like a little dance during that?
He would. There was no limit. I mean, he would dance in the on deck circle. He'd dance in the batter's box. He'd dance, right before pitch. I mean, anywhere he could do it without it being an infraction, he would do it.
I remember watching that game and thinking, this is pretty eccentric looking.
And not necessarily dance, but do some sort of emoticon, some sort of movement, that indicated one of 2 things, depending on the focus that you had. 1, he was having a lot of fun, or 2, he was very cocky.
Yeah. See, again, I watched that game. I didn't get the sense that kid was cocky. He was good. I didn't get the sense he was cocky.
It's funny because Coach Detweiler reached out to me after our last conversation, and he said that for him, one thing that he's noticed is a lot of, from a player's perspective or a coach's perspective, they look out and they see a cocky player, someone that has been labeled a cocky player. Mm-hmm. A lot of times they want them on their team.
Yep. Yeah. I think we mentioned that.
Yeah, and that's what I
hate it when we play against them. But boy, I'd like for that kid to be on my team.
That's what. When I looked out and saw that kid pitch, he's a heck of a player and he's having a heck of a time. And Coach Hill, I mean, everyone can look this up, but Coach Hill was the coach there. Came over and was like, I know he's dancing. That's just his personality. He's trying to.
Oh, this was Fairland's.
Yeah.
Because he's not there anymore.
Nah, he's not. Yeah. And I'm like, hey, he's having a good time. Let him play.
And he does it all the time.
Sure.
Right. Yeah. Every game.
Sure. Yeah. So you kind of see some of that. You do see it a little bit, here and there, and
sure.
So the idea is when they reached out to us about the Savannah Bananas, the
overlap,
the way that they play was kind of fit into our conversation about cockiness and swag, and and things like that. And to be honest with you, like, I didn't see that as swag. So it maybe breaks the definition that I gave. I didn't really see it as swag. I almost kind of thought it was more goofy than anything.
Bananas?
You know what I mean?
Or the kid?
Yeah, dancing. But
sure,
it didn't bother me. Like, to me, it was like he's having fun.
My thought was that's an interesting personality, right? That's kind of.
Yeah.
In fact, I actually think I told somebody that I'm like, I bet that kid's got an interesting personality.
Yeah.
But it was different than.
And I don't recall
because it wasn't specific to any aspect of the game. Like he didn't strike somebody out and then do some kind of jig after striking somebody out. It was just what he did all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like he was just in the moment, enjoying.
So maybe
playing the game.
Maybe he had some swagger about him that kept him loose.
Maybe some cockiness. I don't know.
Yeah.
We talked about it.
I had a you mentioned talking with somebody as a response of our cockiness and swagger and confidence conversation. I had a friend who messaged me also, and this is some pretty good stuff. And he said, "This is Ben Crane,
absolutely.
Mine plays bass in our church.
Graduated with Ben.
Good dude. Oh, you guys are in the same class. Mm-hmm. Awesome." So he said he was listening to our podcast, and he said it reminded him, the subject of cockiness reminded him of something that their exec VP once talked about. He said he came up with 4 stages of competence. And he did say, so I don't know if the guy came up with this himself or he read it somewhere, but he said he thought it was excellent. And I think it's excellent as well. 4 stages of competence when you're like working with people or playing with them on a team. One is the unconsciously incompetent. You don't even know what you don't know if you're unconsciously incompetent. 2, the conscious incompetence is you've learned enough to recognize that you need to work to get better. So you have a conscious incompetence. So you're maybe not as confident. You recognize it. 3, consciously competent. You're good and you know it. He said the VP described these people as a-holes.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
All right.
Ones that you'd be like, yeah, that guy's good and he knows it,
Yeah, but I think there's people that are good and know it, but you can't tell it.
Yeah, unconsciously competent.
But they know it. But they just don't display it.
Unconsciously competent. This is when you become so good that it's just automatic. The things that you do, your muscle repetition and memory just takes over at this point. These are These are the smoothest and fastest working type people. So, yeah, pretty cool little breakdown, I thought.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I think there's an irony. You had mentioned to me this morning, is Savannah Bananas a form of unstructured free play? Like something that you and I have championed as far back as episode 5 in our podcast here. That is something that we want kids to have the opportunity.
I remember what my thought was.
To do more of is just go out and play baseball without it being. Don't be overcoached, right?
Uh-huh.
And I think the irony is when you look at banana ball and you would assume that throwing balls behind your back, doing things that you and I have talked about recently on our podcast, practicing throwing the ball behind your back, putting some little sauce on it, But the irony is, I think that's more structured than anything we ever do in baseball practices or games normally.
Right.
Like there is no unstructure.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying about that.
To banana ball.
What I was saying.
It is planned. And
no, you're right. You're right. Yeah. For the most part, they do practice those things. Yeah.
The only things you can't plan and choreograph is the baseball stuff.
Right.
Because you can't control. Once a ball hits a bat, there's some level of skill to where of barrel control to where you can hit a ball where you want.
Yeah.
But most kids, when they hit a baseball, they don't know where it's going to go.
My point was, and what was in my mind was, when we look at banana ball, we're like, gosh, this is disgusting.
We have people who hate us now.
This is a waste of time. Well, I'm going to bring it back together.
Okay.
But when we've instituted unstructured free play with our teams, we've had parents say,
do the same thing to us.
You don't have an umpire.
Yeah.
You're the first, but the kids are coaching bases and making their lineup.
This is chaos.
What's going on? This is crazy. This isn't baseball, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, and our argument is it's baseball in its purest form.
That, yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And it, you know, obviously it's helpful, and it
right.
You know, you gain a lot from it. So, you know, just to openly admit, I guess, that I could see how someone would like it, and you
Sure.
know, it has its niche out there, and you know, people like it and want to watch it, but it's just not something that's
if I
for
have
me.
the opportunity to go to see them sometime, I probably would. Just
I will not.
Just to do it. Again, I don't know if I could take 9. How many innings do they play?
I don't
know
know
if I could take 9. I mean, 2 or 3 innings of it. Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. Like
it's
when we go
not-
to a Copperheads game, a Southeastern Copperheads game, like I feel like there's a lot of theatrics in that,
in between innings.
in the environment, in the experience. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But I enjoy that.
Well, you've heard me say before. I don't know if you heard me say, but maybe it was Dustin came game there early on because Matty was pitching for him and everything, and he was like, "You know everybody here," because you seem like you know everybody in Athens. I said, "This crowd isn't a baseball crowd. People who come to Copperheads games aren't necessarily baseball people. There are some. I mean, and you'll hear them, right? There are baseball people, but for the most part, people just come out here because it's something entertaining to do in the evening with their kids.
Yeah.
And you know, and what was funny is, I think that very night, we were sitting in front of some people who were talking about, there was one lady asking the lady beside her about certain things that were happening in the game, rules. And like some kid hit a foul ball that went out of the park. And she's like, why didn't he run on that one?
Yeah,
Right? I
yeah.
mean, and so it is. You're right. Those people are not going to OU games.
Well, yeah,
It's
right.
baseball. It's the same game,
Yeah.
right?
Because
But
OU's
it's-
not dancing in between innings. They're not having dance competitions. They're not having sprint competitions.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe I don't
Yeah.
think they do, but you know, they're not doing those. You know, I would say theatrical
Yeah.
thing. You know, there's not that extra.
Yeah,
fun
I think
stuff. There could be.
The
I don't-
issue. I think the Copperheads atmosphere is more like a single A minor league type of
I
atmosphere.
mean, I
you see a
love
lot of that
those
same kind of
games.
stuff there. You know, the
Yeah.
hot dog dance
And
or
I
hot
don't-
dog race.
I normally don't pay attention to it,
Right, I don't either.
but
Yeah.
you know, other
This
people
dizzy
do.
bat game.
And they bring, right. You know, just things like that you know you don't see in the middle. I don't know. They might do stuff like that. I can't. The last few major league games I've come, they haven't done things like that.
I think I was talking with Tony Hawk recently. He says he's wanting to start incorporating some of that in Meg's games.
We can do that. That's no problem. No problem.
I'm going to mention that to Tony.
Everything comes with a cost and a profit.
There you go. If you want to do the dizzy bat race,
$5.
it's going to cost you.
$5 for the dizzy bat race. But,
These are some ideas, buddy.
Not the
There's some ideas.
Don't want to trash, you know, Savannah Bananas that much.
Well,
Like I
it's
said,
like
there's a lot
somebody
of people
saying,
out there.
I like this movie, and I'm like, I hate that movie. It's nothing
True.
personal.
Right, yeah.
Right? I mean, you and I have different taste in movies.
Yeah.
You and I have different taste in, like, I'm not a video game person.
I was gonna
But
lead
you and I
with-
still have pretty good friendship.
I don't know. That's debatable sometimes. Never invite me to do anything.
That's right. Yeah.
Ever.
Well, I guess true friends do say yes now and then to invitations.
Is that a rule? Is that a concept? I don't know. I was going to drop the old, it's scripted, but it's not fake. You heard that before? Scripted, but it's not fake, like professional wrestling.
Yeah.
You know.
Hey,
So
there's another. Yeah.
I'm a big
You
professional
like
wrestling,
wrestling,
fan. I
don't you?
love it. I love wrestling.
I can't stand it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably for the same reason I'm not a big fan of Banana Ball.
Yeah,
right?
that
It's the
might be
same
true.
exact thing, really.
Yeah, but are you a huge amateur wrestling fan? Because I could see.
Oh, like high school wrestling?
Yeah.
I've not ever been. I admire it and respect it.
Absolutely.
But like, I don't go and attend.
You're darn right.
Every wrestling match I do sometimes.
I'll try
and
to.
I enjoy it.
Megs has
I
went
want
to
to
a
support
period
those
where we
kids
don't.
because that's probably the hardest sport to play.
Man, they had a meet last year, first meet they had in a while at Megs, and those wrestlers and their coaches set things up, broke things down.
Oh, yeah.
You know, not only were
Wrestling
they competing,
coaches are a lot
but
like baseball coaches in that aspect, right?
yeah, that's true. That's true.
I mean,
but you know, just
the effort
seeing
that they have to put into their own sport just to have the match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just seeing, like, you know, kids go out there and get beat, you know, lose to their opponent in a physical
one-on-one.
Yeah, physical contest of strength and will, and, you know, get beat. And just the way that they were able to handle that, and you know, the hurts on their faces, but still the way that they did it with class. And I was
you
really
baseball
proud
players
of them.
think that it hurts to strike out,
Which it does.
walk away from a match where
After
you
just
got pinned
or like a forearm to the face, you know, or something like that, or even accidentally punched
and lost.
and lost. Right.
Yeah. That's
I have a lot of respect for it
in terms
too.
of humiliation. You feel like you're humiliated because you took strike 3. You know.
Right.
The thing
Sometimes
about
you just got
wrestling, too,
beat.
is who else you going to blame in wrestling
That's true.
for getting beat?
You can blame the officials.
Can you?
I was sitting there with some people that actually knew what they were talking about, and they're like, "Oh, they're letting them do this or
letting them get away with stuff that they shouldn't." Yeah. Yeah.
But you know, things like that.
Basketball officiating.
But I mean,
letting
I
them
would
go.
say ultimately, when you're, I don't know enough about it to speak about it, but I'd say if your shoulders get pinned to the mat, you know, maybe there's a judging, there's a scoring system to it, so you could lose to an official's judgment, you know, something like that. But if you get pinned to the mat, I don't know, it would be hard to blame someone else unless you had to. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that person beat me.
Yeah,
I mean, at the end of the day, you got to go. That person, I got beat.
Which we want our hitters to do that, right? We want our pitchers to do that.
Yeah,
we want them to have that mentality
for sure.
So no excuses.
Right.
Don't blame anyone. You know. So, but you know, it's difficult, and I think that's why, you know, seeing those kids out there getting physically beat up and still have to do it. It's very admirable. So appreciate that. Well, I think where was I going with that?
Well, you mentioned wrestling, like wrestling.
Oh yeah. So like professional wrestling.
Wrestling.
I could see someone that actually was an amateur wrestler look at professional wrestling and be like,
"Oh yeah,
that's disgusting." You know, the same way we would look at Savannah Bananas. But there's been some Olympic gold medalists.
But then there are probably people who love it also. Yeah, who used to be
wrestlers.
Who went on.
Kurt Angle.
To do the theatric portion of it.
Right. Yeah. But it's not fake. It's scripted.
But here's the thing too. Like here's what I. And I could be wrong about this because I'm not in this world. So you said Berliner was going to do a weekend of banana ball, right? Are we doing WWE style events with our elementary school kids that are learning how to wrestle for real? Like, have you ever heard of anything like that?
No, because
see, I don't.
Well, here's why
I don't like the idea of Berliner saying
you can't.
We're going to sanction this and do it as a tournament or what as a weekend of fun because I think a line needs to be drawn somewhere, right? Right. Yeah. This is entertainment for the adults to do that for you to watch and enjoy, but we don't want you kids doing this either. I don't know.
Yeah. Me neither. It'd be interesting to see if we get any comments on this.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe
down here in somebody's backyard, they got a little WWE thing going on with elementary school kids, something. I don't know.
I would think if that happens, it's coordinated by the elementary school kids, which I would think
in the same way that my elementary school friends and I coordinated a boxing ring in the backyard of Chris Stout's backyard, I believe, is where we boxed.
It's a little more real,
Syracuse. Yeah, boy, it was real.
Do you guys use oversized gloves?
Are heavy,
yeah. Try to help you.
Yeah, but they're oversized. But the heavier the glove, the harder it hits.
Oh, I was thinking the heavier the glove, the more padding you have.
There's more padding. I don't think it was. I don't think it was.
I actually saw the other day a pillow fighting contest. So it was like
Is that an Olympic sport?
Like breakdancing. I saw that.
Listen, after watching some of those breakdancers, like, I used to breakdance, right?
When I
was a young feller.
Yeah.
Yeah. My brother and I and BJ,
You're
Ganguly,
taught,
Bisbal,
about it,
yeah. It was just something that we picked up as
since we are
fun,
recording
hobby
here, we could clear
We're not
this.
gonna.
We could clear the space out right here.
But I did. After watching Australia's Breakdancer and a couple others, I thought I could enter for Australia right now. At 51 years old.
You gonna get?
I could do that. No.
Nice.
I would like to. I'd be interesting. I'd be interested to see if I could go out here on this tile floor and still work a little crab walk into a backspin or something like that.
Is there moves like
no
they actually
windmill?
call things?
I can't do the windmill anymore.
You should do that. You should do
head
this.
spin. I wasn't allowed to do the head spin.
But you should incorporate Fortnite
pop lock
dances, victory dances, emoticons into it.
Fortnite.
Yeah, which is
they dance in that too.
Yeah, they do a lot of dancing. Like normally after they kill you, they'll taunt you.
Okay.
Bunch of cocky,
Yeah.
cocky people on that game. I'll tell you that. I know I've been killed a lot. But yeah, we were going to talk about something else today, but
I've got a topic for you.
Do you want to talk
for
about
next
it?
time?
That's what I say, maybe for next week.
We got a couple of different topics, but we can decide which way we want to go. I think this would be an interesting conversation. What is the perfect sport? Like unbiased, like us, obviously. I mean, yeah, you had the same response I did. Well, there's just only one perfect sport, but we'd have to kind of define what a parameter, some of the parameters would be for the perfect sport. Like what makes a sport a perfect sport?
I like it.
Because somebody said that to me recently. Said that they thought basketball was the perfect sport, and it was just in a conversation, right? And there were some things that I went, oh yeah, but then I got to thinking about it later. I'm like, there's a lot of imperfection in that game, though.
Yep.
Because of officiating, right?
Could be.
And even if there were not officials and you're playing it on your own and you're calling your own fouls,
yeah,
which I think there are some tournaments where that happens, right? 3-on-3 stuff, and
there's also moments in basketball where you don't want to give everything you got.
Yeah. Yeah.
Intentionally, strategically,
right?
You don't give everything you got.
Yeah, you just want to. Well, but some would argue that, like, are you talking about just holding the ball, like stalling?
No. How about?
But you're doing that with all you got.
How about when a bucket's made and a team isn't going to fast break? They're just going to take the ball up the floor slow, and you're on defense,
right?
And you trot up the court. Why aren't you sprinting there? Doesn't make sense. You want to save your energy strategically. You don't want to give everything you got when you're going up the floor, even though the ball's live.
But that's packed into the game. That it is strategy, though.
Sure,
that's a strategy.
But I would say a sport.
Okay.
A sport that doesn't require you to give everything that you have when the ball is live, when there's an opportunity to make a play, is not the perfect sport.
Okay.
So that's a parameter.
That'd be one. There you go. So we could easily jump right into that. So we'll do some work on that. But you know what? The perfect sport, however, is going to be NASCAR.
Okay.
I just wanted to say something else controversial.
Was that the first thing that came up with you? When you came up, first thing that popped into your mind?
NASCAR?
Yeah.
Is the question, is NASCAR a sport?
Oh, I think it's a sport.
Is it even a sport? Oh, I agree. I think it is too.
And this is a great conversation to declare some things on that.
Sure.
Because I think cheerleading's a sport.
Absolutely. There's no doubt about that. I think it's an idiotic thing for people to suggest that it isn't.
Yeah, I agree. They compete.
Yeah, I think it's idiotic that this doesn't fall underneath the OHSAA as a sport.
Completely.
How has the OHSAA in 2024 not yet picked up cheerleading as an option for athletics?
Right. I don't know.
For girls or boys. And
it causes a lot of problems for high schools and administrators because
their coaches.
There's heartache there because they can't support the cheerleading squads the same that they support.
It's a club. Yeah. Yeah. It's
goofy.
It is. It's a really strange thing. And in today's world, you would think that we would have caught up with that.
Yeah. No.
Maybe there's reasons for it.
We should research support
before we go off
cheerleading
and talk about this too. I should go on OHSA's website and research it a little bit before.
That's fair, but I know it's not because we just discussed it in our boosters
recently
the other day. But yeah, we supported it. We defended it. Now I'll say, definitely a sport. but it's not the perfect sport.
That's right. That is yet to come. What is the perfect sport? That is yet to be determined by you and me.
Yes.
Yeah. We shall determine what the perfect sport is. Yeah. If you have some thoughts about that, and you're listening to us, you tell us what you think.
What the perfect sport is.
Be, and give us reasons why.
Yeah.
And we'll talk. We'll talk about
define the parameters.
If somebody could tell us, you define the parameters for what a perfect sport is, and then tell us which one you think is perfect.
And if it's not baseball, we'll tell you why you're wrong.
And you know what? As I think about this, we've talked about it, wrestling's going to be at the top of that, somewhere in the top.
Yeah.
I mean, just mano a mano.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's true.
it's a fight. Mm-hmm. And you could play it without an official and determine a winner.
That's true. That's true. Might have to agree on the rule sets prior to the beginning, but you're right.
This will be fun.
That's good. I like it. We'll do it.
A little preview.
See you, everyone.